I'm Mark Haynes.
And I'm Aaron Burnett. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning. We'll be back at the New York Stock Exchange, and I'll see you this afternoon on Street Science. It's time now for Morning Call.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Call. I'm Michelle Caruso Cabrera in this hour for Liz Clayman. Hello, Mark.
And good morning to you and Happy New Year.
Yes, you too.
I'm Mark Haynes. We're kicking off the year with a special edition of Morning Call. We'll take an in-depth look this hour on how you can make big money in 07, including the airline and defense sectors. You can email your questions to 7407. Get it? 7407 at cnbc.com. We'll also go live to the state funeral of the 38th President of the United States, Gerald R. Ford. The service at Washington's National Cathedral will get underway at the bottom of the hour. The stock markets are closed today in remembrance of President Ford. President Bush will deliver one of the eulogies. We will bring that to you live as well.
In the meantime, let's get a check on this hour's business headlines from CNBC's Margaret Brennan. Margaret. Yes, sir? We're apparently having a little bit of trouble with Margaret's mics. We'll try to get that fixed. The U.S. stock markets are closed today, but in Europe, it is still full speed ahead. CNBC World's Dan Mann joins us now live from London. He's got the latest market action from across the Atlantic. Oh, I spoke a little bit too soon. We have a lot coming up here on the show. That means strike two. Good to have you here on set, Mark.
Would you care to try something else?
So today we're going to be going over the airlines, talking about the energy sector. You're doing a lot of interviews as well as we drill down into a number of key areas.
And we will reestablish contact with Dan Mann. Might be a little harder to reestablish contact with Margaret, who's only 30 feet away from us.
In the studio.
But we can't. We now have Margaret. Margaret, good morning. I don't.
No, don't have it.
Okay. Margaret, nice try, but it is a long way away. It's at least 30 feet. Let's see what we can expect from the U.S. markets in the new year. All together now, cross your fingers. Ernie Ankrum, are you there?
Mark, I'm here. Happy New Year.
Okay, Ernie, investment strategist at Russell Investment Group in Tacoma, Washington. Ernie, what's your outlook for 07? I'm not going to do it.
Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. Margaret Brennan has this hour's business headlines. Go ahead, Margaret.
Hey, Michelle. Third time's a charm here. Here are the latest headlines from CNBC.com. Canada's Harris Steel Group confirms it's a CNBC.com first in business worldwide.
Excellent. Good to hear you, Margaret. All right, let's try this again now with Dan Mann. The U.S. markets are closed, but Europe is full speed ahead. And there is CNBC World's Dan Mann joining us live from London. He's got the latest. Hey, Dan.
And very good day to you, Michelle, and a very happy and healthy new year. You know what? In the same vein as 2006, just about an hour and 10 to go till the close for these European bourses. Check out the map of Western European stock market. Switzerland is closed today for an extended holiday. The rest of them are all higher, and some pretty significant numbers, all up by over 1%. Volumes are very much on the light side of things because of what's happening in the US today. Let's just show you the stock sectors. Nothing is lower at all. In fact, the mining stocks are leading the way. They're up by well over 1.5%. Banks are high, telecoms up, retail and industrial goods and services. Nothing is down today. The healthcare stocks, which were the worst performing sector last year, they're underperforming again today, but still up by 0.5%. Very quickly, there's been a change to the property stocks, the land stocks, if you like, in the UK. They can now trade today as kind of like a trust. What it basically gives them is the ability to pay much less tax, but they have to give more out in dividends to their shareholders. Land security is about the biggest in Europe. It's going to cost them to convert to this process about £300 million sterling, but the stock is flat at the moment. Well, it's higher by about tuppence, £23.25. That's it from Europe. Michelle, back over to you in the studio.
Got it, Dan. Thank you. It is a national day of mourning here in the United States. You're looking at a live picture of Washington's National Cathedral, where the state funeral for former President Gerald Ford is set to begin at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. CNBC's chief Washington correspondent John Harwood. Reminder, when President Bush gives the eulogy for former President Gerald Ford, we will carry that live right here on CNBC.
Also coming up, we'll tell you how you can make big money in the defense and airline sectors this year.
And there's news in the aviation sector to tell you about, right, Philibert?
Michelle, the age of the very light jet, the low-priced jet, it's here, and it's flying away with people actually taking delivery of these jets. We'll talk about it in just a little bit, Michelle.
And here, as we go to break, we'll leave you with live pictures from Washington.
Once again, we take you live to Washington, where the mourners are filing into the National Cathedral. The hearse has just arrived, and the state funeral for President Ford is expected to begin in about 15 minutes, and of course you will see it right here on CNBC. Michelle.
Mark, a new day is dawning in corporate travel. The first very light jet has been delivered. Phil LeBeau's in Chicago with the details. This is exciting, Phil.
It is, Michelle, especially when you consider that there are a number of